Welcome back to the 10-minute round. Look, I just think it's time that we start a support group for everybody whose favorite fighter was knocked out by Ilia Topuria. We can get together in like a church somewhere. We'll have coffee and donuts and people will be smoking cigarettes. It's going to be, we'll be okay. We'll get through this. We can all hug at the end if we need to. But before we do that, let's talk about UFC 317. Ilia Topuria has done it again. He's walking through legends. He's collecting scalps like he's Thanos collecting the Infinity Stones. And Charles Oliveira just became the latest casualty. He called his shot. He said he would do it in one, and he did it in one. Not only that, but he said how he was going to do it. He said that Charles Oliveira was going to walk forward, and he was going to walk forward into a big shot, and he did exactly that. He put him out cold. And for a fight that barely lasted like 2.5 minutes, it actually gave us a lot. A lot of people, including myself, said that if Charles Oliveira had any success, he was going to have it in the grappling department, but he really didn't. All these questions about Ilia's grappling, like he did a phenomenal job in this fight. He reversed a takedown. He slipped into side control. He defended the leg lock. He showed us that he is a high-level grappler. He was not intimidated by any facet of Charles Oliveira's game. And that just makes Ilia Topuria the new lightweight champion, the next double champion. So I think it's up to us to figure out what is next for Ilia Topuria. We have 3 options here, right? We have Arman Tsarukyan, probably the most dangerous opponent for Ilia Topuria. But Uncle Dana already said he's not going to get the next shot. He's in the doghouse. My boy didn't make weight in January against Islam. He's probably going to have to win a fight before he gets a chance to fight for the lightweight belt. Let's be real. The second option is Paddy Pimblett. Now, I think that truly, with the storyline, with the bad blood, the history there between Ilia and Paddy, we're looking at one of the biggest fights in lightweight history if we can make that happen. It is probably the biggest fight since Conor Khabib, if it happens under the right circumstances. Are we going to get there? I don't know, because realistically, I think we need to go with option number 3. And that's Justin Gaethje. Justin Gaethje is the last of the old guard that Ilia has to clear out. If he can go in there and he can KO Justin Gaethje, who is an absolute fan favorite, people love watching Justin Gaethje fight. And if he can go in there and he can KO Justin Gaethje, my God, this dude's star is just going to rise even more. And honestly, I think he can do it. I think he can beat Justin. I think Justin is probably the easiest of those 3 fights. The risk in doing that means that we probably have to set up Arman versus Paddy, and there is no guarantee that Paddy Pimblett can get through Arman Tsarukyan. But I do think it will help, because if Arman wins, it's going to rise his star a little bit. They're going to know him as the guy who beat Paddy Pimblett, and we're going to have a budding star on our hands if Arman Tsarukyan can beat Paddy. Now, if Paddy wins, that is best case scenario. By some chance, the English gods all get together and Paddy Pimblett beats Arman Tsarukyan, we might have the biggest fight in lightweight history. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what is next for Ilia Topuria. But Ilia Topuria has earned himself a little bit of a break. He is now the lightweight champion. We'll see how the division plays out. We'll see what's next for the champ. Look, I said going in that Kai Kara-France had the skills to make this one interesting. He has one-shot KO power, and that is something that Pantoja has not had to deal with recently. However, Pantoja was having none of it. Pantoja went out there and dominated. Simple as that. He did just enough striking to get them tangled up, and from there he would take Kai down, and once he had him down, he just controlled the fight. Pantoja's BJJ is just at such a high level. Like, it is absurd. It is absurd that this man can take people down and just control them for like 4 minutes of the fight, and you're just you're stuck. You're stuck. All you're doing is you're trying not to get submitted by the guy, but he's going to hold you down. He's going to put the body triangle on you. He's on your back. He's draining your energy. He's draining your morale, and he's draining the clock. Once he's on your back, the round is pretty much sealed for him. I don't know what could be more demoralizing than that. And unfortunately for Kai Kara-France, he really just had nothing for the champion. Even when they got back to the feet, dude was swinging at like the ghost 3 feet in front of Pantoja. A couple times he lunged so hard at the body that he almost took himself down. Luckily for Alexandre Pantoja, we already know what's next. We saw it. We saw it in the fight before. So let's move on to the potential fight of the year. If you have not watched Joshua Van versus Brandon Royval, let me tell you something. Turn off the Love Island. Turn off Squid Game. Go and watch that fight right now. That is a potential fight of the year that we just saw. These two flyweights threw for over 750 strikes combined. Not a single takedown was attempted. The Just Bleed gods are satiated. Let me tell you what an absolute scrap that was. You have to give credit to both guys. Van, he stepped in on short notice against the #1 ranked flyweight in the world, and Royval accepting a fight against a young, explosive striker with nothing to lose. And for the fight itself, it was pure chaos. Royval just kept that high pace. I feel like in the second round, he turned it up. He was just throwing so much volume. He was hoping that Joshua Van would melt under the pressure. But Van just kept coming. He kept countering. He kept landing hard shots, and it won him enough of the rounds. He even adjusted in the third round because I truly feel that Van lost the second round. I feel like the second round was Royval's best round. He was landing a lot. And in the third round, Van was like, nah, son, check out this knee stomp. He would hit him with the knee stomp, and he would immediately follow it up with some hard shots. And then all of a sudden, it's like the tide was turning. And by the end, he was able to drop Royval. It sealed the round. It sealed his title shot. It was just an incredible showing of heart from both guys. I was just blown away. But is Joshua Van ready for Alexandre Pantoja? I think that's a conversation for another day. For now, Joshua Van should enjoy his win. He's got a big training camp ahead of him. Enjoy your time. You know, here at the 10-minute round, we're a huge fan of you. In a battle of the old-timey lightweights, Beneil Dariush defeated Renato Money Moicano. I didn't really know what to expect out of Benny in this one. He largely dominated the fight. He had been out for so long that I didn't know what version of Benny was going to show up. But the guy, he's a crafty veteran. He's not the most athletic or explosive dude, but the dude is just good everywhere. His striking is awkward. His grappling is at a high level. Like, he dominated Renato Moicano. Dariush reminded everybody that he is a serious problem at lightweight. This old horse is not ready for pasture just yet. For me, I'd like to see him match up against maybe Dan Hooker. That's a little scrap that I'd tune in for. I genuinely believe that Peyton Talbot is one of the most gifted fighters I've ever seen. There's just something about the kid. He moves well. He reacts well. His positioning, his rhythm, his timing, his power. The kid has got it all. And that's not to mention the huge leap in grappling skills that he's made since his last fight. This kid is the real deal. His opponent, Felipe Lima, is incredibly talented. He's one of the top prospects out there. He's good everywhere. But once he felt Peyton Talbot's power, he wanted nothing to do with it. He was going into his corner and being like, yo, I don't know about this one, guys. I don't like getting hit by this guy. There was like a fear inside of him, and he tried his damnedest to grapple with Peyton Talbot, and Peyton Talbot was just one step ahead every time. It was a fantastic fight. Peyton Talbot is an absolute phenom. If he keeps developing, if he keeps getting better, the kid is going to be a problem. All right, so real quick, in the prelims, Gregory Rodriguez damn near killed a guy. The knockout was so bad that hours later in the broadcast, in the pay-per-view, they're over here telling us, yes, Jack Hermanson is still alive. Jose Delgado, a kid that we've spotlighted on this show before, coming off the Dana White Contender Series. He's out of the MMA lab in Arizona. He trains under guys like Benson Henderson. We've talked about this kid. It took him 26 seconds to KO a very durable fighter in Haider Emil. Keep an eye on Jose Delgado, I'm telling you. Tracy Cortez is still bae. She was very impressive. I didn't know what to expect from her coming off the Rose loss. I don't know what was up with Viviana. She just kept complaining while getting her ass beat. I don't know. But anyway, Tracy looked good. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come for her. And finally, Terrence McKinney still fights like he left the stove on back home. 55 seconds is all it took for him to lock in a submission. The dude avoids the second round like I avoid the dentist. So UFC 317 for International Fight Week, it over-delivered. The fights were fantastic. Ilia Topuria is a star. Joshua Van is a star. Alexandre Pantoja looks unbeatable. We got a lot out of this one, and we got a lot more things to figure out moving forward. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. This has been the 10-minute round. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.